No.
So I did tell you last week. Everybody heard it. If you heard it, if you heard it.
Oh boy.
All right. So
Proceed.
we've been doing this series of 2019 plan series. It's been very, very informative. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from it. A lot of phone calls. A lot of people downloaded the free ebooks that came along with the live show. So we're happy about
Oh,
that.
so it works. It
Yeah,
works.
it does work. And we'll tell you how you can get the one for tonight, as well as next week is our final week before the holiday season. And we'll tell you how to bring this entire series together into one productive plan for 2019 so you can get started right away at the beginning of the new year. But like I said, first we're going to get a few things out. I want everyone to know that we're here every Wednesday night from 7 p.m. to 8. Sometimes we do a short version to 7:30, depending on the topic. Um, but this last 3 weeks has been very important. People are very engaged and interested in what we have to say about these plans for 2019, which are definitely going to enhance your outlook for your accomplishments that you want to implement for the coming 2019, which is hardly, it's just crazy to be saying 2019. It just really is. Um, because you've been watching our show, if you're tuning in, here's the place to register at tbirdcenter.com, and you will get, it's an actual full 12-week program that we've been discussing in a short term on the show. So you can get the entire series over a 12-week period for absolutely no
So
charge. And we'll be happy to give it away. Classes will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday
yeah.
starting in January. And they will be held online. So that's the comfort of your home or smart device. And all graduates will receive a certificate of completion. So how could you go wrong? I mean, if
You
you don't
can't.
jump on this, I don't know what's good for you. I really don't. Again, if you have questions for the show while we're live, you can register at tbirdliveshow@gmail.com during the show, and we will also send you out our business plan worksheet ebook for this session. And so, therefore, you can still log in and get access to some of these important resources. And then, of course, you can call the show. If you look down here, you can call us at 301-868-6075, or if you're in the Jersey area, 609-484-9356. And we would love to have you share our live show on your page, on your timeline. So let's get started. We started off with the personal plan. That was really very interesting. And the second session was the professional plan. And so now we're up to the business plan. And I wanted to make sure that people understood exactly what the difference was between the business, personal, and professional plan before we actually get started tonight. So I want to say first that the common denominator is that all of these plans must have a starting point with an idea, a plan or a mission, and then the outline of the plan, and then, of course, your action plan to actually begin the implementation of it. So, all of these plans have those key factors. Now, I want to discuss the personal plan, was pretty much for you to decide how you want to improve on your personal life, things that you want to get in order or more organized, the things that have been a barrier to your entire professional and business life, as well as your personal life. So, writing down a personal plan, most people do a New Year's resolution every year. And that's coming up because New Year's is a few days away. And we all set these goals and objectives that many of us keep, many of us set what we know we can't keep. And then there's the ones that we, just outright will keep for a few days, like a diet. We'll go the first 10 days and then fall right off when the first opportunity knocks at the door.
So what's
So,
a so Trina, what's like a good like projection area for you? Do you do like you said, do you over extend yourself or do you do stuff that it's in reason for your resolutions? Is it
Well,
is it is it hard to stick by them or not?
I try to set small ones. Like we actually, you and I started early this year. We actually started October 1st. And our personal plan was, or one of the personal plans that we had, excuse me, was to eliminate the starch, carbohydrates from the diet
Starch and sugar
and
is what
sugar.
we did.
And we've been doing really good with the sugar part of it. I mean, we've had a little bit of sugar, like I try to put just a tiny bit of brown sugar in my tea. Most of the time, I try to drink it uh, without any sugar. But like today, I felt like a little bit in there, so I put a little bit of brown sugar. Cinnamon really just takes it off the chart so that you can bear it if it's not a lot of sugar or no sugar at all. And as I came on the show this morning, just now, I had me a few
Honey roasted.
honey roasted
Ah,
almonds. So that was a little, but no cakes, no pies, no cookies, those things, that we could easily sit down and have two, three, you know, helpings of it. So we've cut that completely out. And the only thing I think that we've also had a little bit of sugar is when we have had like a sauce. Like if we have baked chicken or whatever, I'll put some barbecue sauce on it. And a lot of people don't realize that that is actually got sugar in it. Ketchup's got sugar in it. So those little small condiments you have to be real careful of. But we've cut out the French fries, so there's really no need to have ketchup. But I did make a turkey meatloaf the other day,
and that was pretty. That was pretty
and
saucy too. It
yeah,
was real good.
and I
Pretty
loaded
saucy.
it with ketchup, and I loaded it with hot sauce, and loaded it with Worcestershire sauce, but didn't have the bread. So you have to make. I suggest make small. Like we did do
Small ones.
do carbohydrates and sugar at the same time, but we've been where we've done one or the other, and we just decided to go full fledged with just both of them. But I mean, if you're trying to lose weight or you want to, go back to college, and take one course instead of trying to get a full curriculum. Cut out one thing out your diet instead of everything, or two things out your diet instead of everything. And if it's exercising that you want to do, try to go at least once a week instead of trying to set up a schedule where you go every day. So take small steps, and then you'll find them to be more rewarding when you accomplish it. And so far, I've lost 17 pounds. So
Okay, now you tell me. You weren't gonna tell me, but you share with your audience. But like,
I
yeah,
told you it was 17. Don't
I
even try.
can, I can actually, like relate to that. But like, my thing is, I like to go for all the gusto. I like to get a projection out and get a goal that I can try to reach, rather than going and staying within my limits. So like, yeah, I guess I'm playing outside the box a little bit, but at any rate, it's like my philosophy. I like to get a good like projectionary, like what's the normal life saying? Like 12 weeks. You like want to stick with it, and then you just fall off or fall off completely. But I'm more stuck with it, for, like a little bit longer than that.
October, November,
You
December.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
You know what I mean? But I try.
It's been 60.
All you can do is try, and like once you're on that trek, things do fall into place sometime.
No, it's
But
been 90 days.
I
Yeah,
will
no,
tell you,
December.
this is like the festive season, and then we're gonna get into the show. It like eggnog ice cream is what my like what my passion is, and I had that yesterday, but it was low fat.
Cheated.
It was low fat. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
thought you had mint.
No, you told I couldn't have the mint, so I had
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
eggnog.
Yeah, you can have mint. And another reason why we couldn't do it is because we went and got our blood work done yesterday, and you can't. They tell you to fast. That today they're telling you you don't have to fast in order to do your blood test. But there's a method behind that, in my opinion. You eat whatever you want, and then you go get the blood work done, and then whatever your levels are normally overnight when you sleep and you wake up in the morning and they have reset themselves. Well, if you eat and then go get the blood work, now they're high, so now they can prescribe medication. So we just didn't do that, and we tried to the day before not to eat anything that would make the levels go up, because the first thing that these doctors want to do is prescribe some kind of medication.
Come take this pill.
And
your numbers are kind of high.
Yeah, and they're high because they're telling you, oh, you can eat, and then. But all my younger life, I've been told to fast so they get accurate results. So what the heck? Anyway, back on subject. We talked about the personal. The professional plan is more like your career plan, but I don't like to call it a career plan because I want you to also combine a business plan, a professional business plan together so that you're not only just going to work for someone every day, you're also working for yourself as that additional income. And so that's what we're going to discuss tonight, the business plan. And I'm going to do two sectors of the business plan because I'm going to target two different audiences, and I'm going to tell you why. So, typically, a business plan is written by an entrepreneur who has an idea and wants to start their own business. The plan will detail a map of what the company will do, its financial picture, goals and objectives for the business, and it's usually 10 pages long or more. Especially if you're going to a bank and you're looking for investors or a bank to get a loan, not necessarily a startup loan because that doesn't exist, but they will give you a loan to pretty much sustain your business. And those are usually in depth. That's not the one I'm talking about tonight. That's another course and another workshop and another show. Tonight we're going to be talking, we want to encourage you to think about becoming an entrepreneur. So we're targeting for this particular subject the one-page business plan for those of you who have been thinking about a business but not really made any effort towards that goal. It's just a thought in the back of your mind. So what we want you to do for 2019 is to take that thought or that idea and actually put it down on paper and then see if it's a viable resource for you to actually, try to implement. And we definitely encourage you to think about becoming an entrepreneur by doing this one-page business plan to get started, because you definitely need to consider a business, even though you may have a good job. And everybody thinks they have a good job, but guess what? A good job, everybody's had a good job that's been laid off.
At one
Especially
time or another.
at one time or
In
another.
their
You're
lives,
right.
you're right.
And
Absolutely.
why are we targeting this population? Since having a good job gives you that job security, a weekly or bi-weekly paycheck, security, and more. Well, in today's culture, no job is safe, and you need a backup plan. And working for yourself is the best backup plan that you can implement for yourself, because part-time jobs don't really exist. You got a lot of full-time people who have had to go out and get two part-time jobs just to make the same salary that they were making working one 40-hour job. Now they're working 30, maybe 40 hours on two different jobs, maybe three jobs just to get those 40 hours in.
Right.
So don't count on that. It used to be back in the 60s and 70s, the objective when we graduated high school and college was to get that security job, that secure job, and retire from there. But that
Right, that 25-year
yeah, that
job,
concept doesn't exist
gold
anymore.
watch, nothing.
No,
But like you said, like culture and the climate has changed as far as employment goes. And like
absolutely.
as far as your backup plan, what is a backup plan? You might already have one, and, but it might not be written down. But it's a physical or like virtual file of a database or like whatever you might want to save or might want to fall back on. But it's the process of backing up is so that when you do that, I guess a pivotal move, you're moving in a successful recovery state. In other words, you don't want to lose any type of traction. You want to keep that momentum going. And by having that backup, you can.
I believe too that if you work for yourself, your mindset is going to change, and most people's
True.
mindset changes once they get laid off or terminated. So
And
then
by
they
that time,
think,
it's too
okay,
late.
yeah, how do I look at it? I want to change your mindset at the beginning, day one, January 1st, 2019. I want your mindset to change towards entrepreneurship. Even if you've got that six-figure job or a five-figure job or you're collecting unemployment, the mindset's the same. You need to look out for yourself because companies today look out for their bottom line. And if you're not in that bottom level, then they get rid of you.
In the store.
If
No
there's
more to
another
be said.
opportunity, the sustainability and longevity doesn't exist these days, except for people who are pretty much rich, and they're jumping from place to place to maintain their status. So we have to look at it the same way. We have to make sure that we keep on top of everything. And just because you got that job with the government, or just because you got that job with the utility company, something that is real secure, doesn't mean that it's going to be there forever. And you also want to maintain that job for a number of reasons: retirement, your pension, of course, being able to pay your bills every week. But on that spare time, instead of going to get that Christmas part-time job, start your own business. Think about how you can make money on the other side of the track, where you get to keep all of it. Another important factor too under entrepreneurship is that you get a lot of write-offs. A lot of write-offs that you don't get now as a regular citizen. So if you start your own business, there's you get a good accountant, there's a lot of things expenses that you can write off because you're in business and you're using a lot of your resources for the business, like your technology. If you're using it for the business, right now, if you have a cell phone, you're paying $100, $200, $300 a month. What can you do with that bill every month? Times 12, not a thing. But if you have a business, you can write off a portion of that cell phone bill because you're using it for business. And you may only take a job once every week or twice a month, or maybe you do it every day, but it's still a write-off. Also, if you're driving from one location to another, you're commuting. If you go to work that day and you have to stop off at a meeting that you have scheduled after your job, part of that trip can be written off. So you got to look at it from a business entrepreneur sense. And I want to let me get your phone. I want people, I want people to definitely take a look at those types of resources that are available to you, simply because you're now a business person. And like I said, today's subject is for a person who has not thought about business. We're not really talking about the person who has got the big business plan already in place and you're trying to get things done.
Well, I think you should be talking to them, because everybody needs to clean up their act.
Well, they do. I'm going to talk about that too.
Not a certain degree.
I'm going to talk about that too. But I want to target the people who I feel right now that are, haven't thought about it. Those are the ones I really want to get. Because that person that's already thought about it, they're going to continue to, strive forward.
Right,
they're going to keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. But the person that's thinking, oh, I'm doing really good. I am, able to pay my bills, save a little bit of money, go on vacation, put the kids in private school, blah, blah, blah. What happens if all that goes away? And you're definitely not in a position where you would be able to sustain your way of life. And now you're thinking about, okay, I got to get out there and I got to get a hustle. Well, don't wait till then. Get that hustle in place now. Start building your customer base. Start building your relationships. And so then when you get ready to go out there because you're forced to, you've already got a platform, a foundation in place. So that's my point.
Okay.
Now let's talk about that cycle of that one-page business plan, because throughout all these shows in the last 3 weeks, we've always given you the cycle of how it should be done. And from this, you can actually begin the process. Obviously, we encourage you to take that 12-week class, because then what happens is you get all the resources, you get all the detail, and we actually show you how to do these things, such as develop a business idea. You may have 10 things running around in your mind that you know you would be really good at. Which one do you pick? Well, we have things in place that will allow you to do the research on maybe 5 ideas and then eliminate them based on the need of the community that you're going to be serving, the demographics, the client base, all of that. We show you how to pinpoint what's going to be the best step for you to take. Then we also, next is your business overview. Okay, once you decide on what the idea is, then what's the overview? What's going to be next? What are you going to figure out how to do, how to implement it? And when you do that, you really get an idea of how it should be done, and not only how it should be done, but when you can go into implementation mode rather than it being a dream or a passion or a hobby or just an idea. And once you get your business overview down packed, it should be something that you could just spill out. If someone asks you about your business plans, you could just say it. It's like that 30-second commercial. You can just tell it right to anybody and have it make sense, and also give that person not only a audio version of it, but a visual. When we talk in business, you have to always be ready and able to make someone visualize as well as hear what you're saying. Because if they can visualize it, then they'll buy into it. Because we all learn or buy or purchase or from what we see. We see quicker and learn from it than we do hearing it.
Yeah, but don't give them too much of a idea because they might take it and run with it. I want to
Well, that's what we want to do. We
you
want
know
to
what I
take the
mean?
class.
Like before you start, I've been down here working on two phones, trying to keep these things quiet. But I need to shout out to Leslie. Thank you for dialing in.
She was
Tony,
here last week.
Sadia, Tamara, Jay. Uh, I think this is a male Jay. Um, Sanchez, Nathan, and Sherry said, make sure you say it's Sherry from Florida. So
Florida.
yeah, so like she's watching you.
Oh, hi,
Okay,
Sherry.
Aaron and and I said Dallas, right? Like those are they they've been like telling me they call back twice or like come up and call back twice. But getting back to you on target, like you said, like you must start somewhere. It has to be like a even playing ground where you can start whenever you want to, and like that to me is now. You have an idea, you massage that idea, and then you make a plan, and then you take action.
Okay. Well, the next area is targeting your customers, because you need to know who your customer base is, because if you create a business idea, you want to make money. And the only way you can make money is through having customers. So targeting your customer, and I've given you here a little, I'll just make this big so you can see it. This is pretty much that one-page outline. So you'll be able to, in no time, put together this business plan so that you have like an idea. And I always encourage people, when you create your business idea, bring together 3 to 5 people. And I always suggest have them over for dinner and or lunch, brunch, whatever is convenient for you, and print out your one-page plan and give it to them. People you trust, but not your family members, not your closest friends. Well, you should have at least one close friend, one family member, and then one person that you're really not close to. Somebody that probably
Somebody to
doesn't
watch your
like you,
back.
but
Somebody to watch your back.
well, no, I would say somebody that pretends to like you, but you really know they don't like you, and they always kind of shoot down everything because you want that negative input,
Right, you want
so
that
that you
critical
can
point.
bring that into your ingredients to make that solid pie. Because there are going to be a lot of people out there that think just like that negative person, and so you want to be able to combat those negative thoughts and negative ideas when it comes to building your brand. So I would say at least those 3 people, and 2 more that may already be, one person that's already in that industry that doesn't feel you as a threat, and then another person that may be an enhancement to that industry. So, for example, when you go to Walmart these days, they have inside the Walmart, they have what's that sub shop place, that sub place,
But
and they have where you can get your nails done. So you have businesses inside of businesses that complement each other, and so you want to get someone from that industry that will complement your industry on your board as well, and let them know up front it's not a paid position, but you will feed them. I know I took good care of my board members. I still take good care of them, and every year at the holidays when we have our meetings, I get them a little trinket. I feed them really well, and I help them with what they're doing. So it's got to be a little advantageous for them in order for them to devote some time. And then you have some people that just want to do it because they like you and want to support you. And then you got the naysayers that are just coming to be nosy. But you want them there too because they are an asset. So many people that are going to tell you no, they are the main ingredient to get where you're going because they encourage you without even knowing it. When they blow out your
They're telling
candle,
me no.
yes, when they blow out your candle, they don't realize that as soon as they turn their back, the candle lights up again and they energize you. So, next is your marketing plan. You definitely want to make sure that you figure out how you're going to market it. It doesn't have to be elaborate. This is just a one page, but just your thoughts. And the first thing that's going to be on there is social media because that's how every business, big business, small business, everybody's got a social media platform. But you also need radio and TV and video. So those are more detailed concepts that we explain to you when you take that 12-week class. And then, of course, identifying your startup cost. How much is it going to cost? One of the things that we teach you how to do is minimize your startup costs. Don't go out and get some kind of loan or run up your credit cards. And I do recommend, instead of going to the bank, apply for a line of credit through American Express or a Visa, where you can get a $5,000 or $6,000 loan line of credit, so that you can fund your business and not have your property, your home, or anything else put up as asset, so that if it doesn't work, they can take it. A credit card, the worst they can do is put you in a bad credit status, but at least give you an opportunity for years to pay it back without you becoming homeless or them taking your car or anything else, other items that may be of value. And then who's going to run it? My idea for a business, when Rick and I first started, he kept the job and I ran the business. So you always have the health benefits, you always have a steady income, and you also have that support, but not in your face daily because they're at work. So you can really get things done. Typically, it should be your partner, your husband, or your significant partner,
Or your
maybe
partner, whatever.
maybe a family member,
Yeah.
etc. Because it will definitely take that kind of partnership, because doing it by yourself is very, very hard. But even if you have a silent partner, anyone that's going to help you run the business, it will be great. And you could even set up a 50-50 partnership. It doesn't have to be a legal thing. It could just be a meeting of the minds commitment letter saying that, if you make them pay for, being a part of it. So if you're putting up $10,000, then they need to put up the 10,000 if they're equal. If they're just going to be a smaller, they may put up 5. Or maybe your mom that lends you the credit card that you can use unconditionally. Make her a partner. I mean, you got to work this thing where it actually is good for everyone involved. Don't just use people to get where you're going, because trust me, when you get there, it's going to be a whole lot tougher, and you're going to see those same people on your way back down, because you will fall if you don't do it in an honest and respectful and decent manner. It's hard enough being in business when you're honest and decent. It's even harder when you fail at being honest and decent. And that happens.
Yeah,
It really
it
does.
happens all the time, man. A lot of people don't know how how many times, often more than none, that really happens to people. People really try their hardest,
Yep.
and it seems like they don't get it, but somebody's looking at you. Somebody's seeing you doing the right thing. So keep it moving.
And this is you when you get started. This is a cool little thing. I'm not going to really play the sound because the sound's not too good, but I want you, this is you getting excited about taking that class. We're going to take a short commercial break.
She put the commercial.
And yeah, I got them. We're getting ready to roll.
Okay,
The
well,
T-Bird Center is actively recruiting students for their Microsoft Office Professional and QuickBooks 12-week training program. And here's the best part. You can qualify for a free training grant, free Microsoft Office software, and a free laptop computer. Call the T-Bird Training Center today at 484-9356 for more information, or go to tbirdcenter.com. You heard correctly. The T-Bird Center is offering a 12-week program for Microsoft Office Professional and QuickBooks. And you could qualify for a free training grant grant, free Microsoft Office software, and a free laptop computer. Call the T-Bird Training Center today at 484-9356 or go to tbirdcenter.com. That's tbirdcenter.com. The T-Bird Center has been state approved since the early 90s and has a very strong curriculum and success rate. Don't lose another job due to lack of skills. Call the T-Bird Center at 484-9356 or go to tbirdcenter.com. Now's your chance to learn Microsoft Office Professional and QuickBooks. Go to tbirdcenter.com. The T-Bird Center is actively recruiting students for their The T-Bird Center is actively recruiting students for their Microsoft Office Professional and QuickBooks 12-week training program. And here's the best part. You could qualify for a free training grant, free Microsoft Office software, and a free laptop computer. Call the T-Bird Training Center today at 484-9356 for more information or go to tbirdcenter.com. You heard correctly. The T-Bird Center is offering a 12-week program for Microsoft Office Professional and QuickBooks. And you could qualify for a free training grant, free Microsoft Office software, and a free laptop computer. Call the T-Bird Training Center today at 484-9356 or go to tbirdcenter.com. That's tbirdcenter.com. The T-Bird Center has been state approved since the early 90s and has a very strong curriculum and success rate. Don't lose another job due to lack of skills. Call the T-Bird Center at 484-9356 or go to tbirdcenter.com. Now's your chance to learn Microsoft Office Professional and QuickBooks. Go to tbirdcenter.com. The T-Bird Center is actively recruiting students.
All right. Now you could have your commercial playing right in that spot with us. So, and if you're interested, just give us a hit at register at tbirdcenter.com and we'll send you out. Rick will send you out.
Got a few more people. Rashid Floyd, thanks for joining us. I like your comment. Lamar Hill, Reginald C, Musa Muhammad, Bobby Nelson, Lance, William J, Dr. J. I don't know if he's the real Dr. J, is he?
No.
At any rate, thank you for calling in. And Robin Clark and Mr. J. Whitehead, along with Linda Robinson. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm getting some questions.
I do have questions.
Yeah, I got questions, but I want to go over the last part.
Segment, right, that's why
yeah, and then once we do this, it's only a few this last section. Yeah, okay. So the second group I wanted to target is the person that already has an idea and needs to get started. Maybe you've been procrastinating and you really quite don't understand. I mean, you got your idea in place. You know everything about your business that you want to implement, and you may have went to an investor or to a bank or someone wanted to know where's your business plan. And I always tell people, we're in talks with an organization in I think they're in Blank City or Pleasantville, and we're thinking about a collaboration. And it's to the point where I actually have to sign a
disclaimer.
A disclaimer, yeah. And
but nowadays that's what people do.
Yeah, people do. Yeah,
because people have so many critical ideas, and like the only way you can get it out is by sharing. But you also have to more or less like protect yourself. Even like when you work for like a business. Like if you work for a business, you have to sign on like some things. If you're making like really big money, you have to sign a disclaimer that you can't do any more work for a 6-month period after you leave the company.
Yeah, I was going to pull it up.
Like that.
I was going to pull it up.
People right now are safeguarding, so you need to safeguard your own self and make sure that you don't give out too much of your idea. That's what I was saying from like the onset, meaning that you could give them enough to like more or less wet their palate, but don't give them too much. That's like a word of wisdom you need to do once you make your presentation, because you don't want to give like the full ingredients. Anybody know about Lenox China? Like my uncle used to work in like the pottery department, and he worked in there for something like 20 years. And like the reason why he did, and like he was so much, and like the man, um, he used to put it in, put like the plates into the kiln, and they wouldn't crack. But they he had so many like more of his proteges and everybody else that coming in, and he left out some ingredients. So every time they did it, the plates would crack. So
Mhm.
remember that little tidbit. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking at this non-disclosure and non-compete agreement, and he's saying that we cannot discuss any information.
now those are his exact words, right?
Yeah,
Right.
confidential information shall not include information previously known to me, the general public, or previously recognized as standard practice in this field. So it's a collaboration that we're going to be doing for a period of 2 years. I will hold all confidential and proprietary information in confidence and will not use such information except as may be authorized by the company. So, I mean, that's how serious it could be. So you definitely want to make sure that anybody you bring into your fold is qualified, number one, uh, and also can bring value to you. If there's no value, you're not saying you don't need people that don't have value to your business, but that'll bring enough value that they can, can grow. And that could be somebody that just, when you have your monthly meetings, they just organize it and they clean up and they cook and they, that's value. Somebody that believes in your mission and your goal. And you definitely want to, make sure that that information that they bring to you and that you
Oh,
provide with them is definitely
okay.
a
But you want to be,
non-compete agreement so
yeah.
that you
Is that what you
can
want to do on the show?
make sure that you're protecting yourself because it's so important. People will take your idea and
Okay.
run
All
with
right.
it. We've had so many people who I remember when we first got started in our business, there was a computer training store on New Road down the street from us in Northfield. And he was going around telling everybody that he taught us. We took their classes and we took his training, and that's how we opened up our school.
Meanwhile,
And I'm like,
Meanwhile,
really?
a lot of people will say that there's another guy. You remember a guy on
He's an electrician.
no old English Road, I want to say. Um, he said that he's a have a software store, and he said like they taught us too. So I'm like, wow,
Oh yeah, that one over there
I
by
never even knew
Kingston.
you
Yeah,
till now. But
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but thanks
Crazy,
a lot.
crazy. Anyway, the importance of a business plan, writing the business plan, is to obviously document the, and this is a full-fledged business plan I'm referring to, not the one page, is to document the entire idea or business product in its entirety. So at one point, you're going to be doing more in-depth financials. You're going to be putting together
Right.
a real marketing plan. You're going to elaborate on all those areas that we address in the one-page plan. You're going to address them in full, in detail, more detail, so that when that person picks up your book, which is your business plan, and they read it, they have a full-fledged idea of what your business is planning on doing, who it's going to serve, the demographics, the location, the niche that you may have, all of that combined in this one document. And that person, it has to be a confidential document that you protect and you deliver to someone to take, a look at. One of the things I would recommend is you bring those same board members in, you print the copy off, they all sit down, you go over section by section, and when they leave without your business plan. It's just a discussion item, and they don't get to take it with them. But I wanted to point out the main purpose of putting together the business plan, and I'll show you that cycle as well. And the difference between the one page and the full-fledged business plan is that the one page is just like a draft. It is just assessing that business
It's like a
idea,
summary.
a summary of your business.
Hmm.
Now you're going to assess that idea. Can it work? Because if you don't do this step here, none of this other stuff matters. Assess the idea and make sure it can work. See who else is making money at it. See who else has been successful at it. even if they've been successful and maybe made some bad moves and going out of business, that's the person you want to talk to. So you don't make the same mistakes that they made. So, do your homework, do due diligence. We're trying to get into a new industry at the T-Bird Center, and I finally found a number to the guy that this industry, he's heading up this industry, and I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow. Hopefully that's the right number. And it took me about 2 hours on the computer, internet, Google, trying to find this guy so that I can approach him about a project that I think he may be interested in for his new business venture. And so you got to do your due diligence. You got to make sure that there is room for you in this business industry that you're entering into. And you got to check out the industry and see the growth of that industry. Just because, technology is a big thing, it could only be a short term, like .coms or like computer repair. People don't repair computers anymore. They go buy a new one.
Right, they're all throwaways.
Right. And computers have been replaced with tablets.
And you can't always just go with the trend.
Yeah, the trend
Because
is,
the trend
well, you
changes.
can go with the trend if you get in and get out.
If you had the mindset.
Right.
A lot of people get in there
And want to get stuck. Yeah, they want to stay. And I definitely am victim of that. Thinking, well, everybody's going to want to learn forever. And technology today, compared to what it was back in 1990 when I started, people are teaching themselves how to do all kinds of stuff. There are a whole bunch of industries that are afraid right now because people can do their own thing using this new smart technology. And it's putting industries out of business. Industries, not companies, but industries out of business. And you don't want to be one of those. Or if you know it's coming, you got this quick fix for it. Get in, make your money, and invest in the upcoming new. Always look at what's coming down the pike instead of where you're at. Don't stay there. Once you get the idea, then determine the cost in detail. So here, you're not going to just say, oh, I need $10,000 to get started. Here's where you're going to look at your monthly expenses. Not only in addition to your startup expenses, because that's just the money to get started. Let's take the utility companies. It's probably going to be like a $500 deposit to get the electric turned on at your location. So that's $500 in startup costs. But what's it going to cost you every month with the electric bill to keep the lights on?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with,
go beyond that.
Right. That's when you get into the business plan, the full-fledged business plan. And also, when you determine your startup costs, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have the money to get started. You don't want to get started and start that foundation and build everything, get your name out there, and then you can't finish it because you ran out of money. Develop your goals for your business. Oftentimes, people will say you have to have a mission statement. You should have a slogan. You should also have that 30-second commercial so that you meet that person, that may be interested. You can just give them that visual I talked about earlier. In addition to them being able to hear your concept, they can visualize what you're saying because your 30-second commercial is that powerful. Next, you're going to want to develop your operations plan. How is the business going to run? Who's going to run it? How is it going to be open 3 days a week, 5 days a week? Is it, evening hours, day hours, weekends? How much of your time is going to be committed to the operation of it? Are you going to maintain your full-time job because you need to? You got a family to take care of? Who's going to be there in your place when you're at work? All of that operational kind of stuff. You got to answer all those questions in this business plan because not only is it going to help you determine whether or not it's going to work, but if someone wants to invest, they can also determine if it's worth the investment because you have addressed every single plan that there is in terms of how you're going to get this done. Next is projecting your financials. How much money are you going to make in 6 months? How about a year? How about 3 years later? What are your projectionary? And this is so easy to do, but so intimidating to people that don't understand it. And it's pretty much, you do it every day when you go to work.
Right. And now you realize.
Right. When you get that paycheck, it's $300 net income, and you know already how you're going to spend it. And you know what you can buy in between that check and the next check. So you really got the concept down, but now you need to transfer that same skill set over into the business world and project if you sell 10 training classes at $99 or $100, that's going to be $1,000. After you pay your teacher and the expenses to run it, what's your net profit? That may only be $500. Well, if you do that 10 times a week, there you have it. Those are projectionaries. And then after you figure out all the costs associated with it, then the next step is, how are you going to implement the plan? And the plan consists of your marketing, the technology you're going to need, the staff you're going to need, that whole entire plan of implementation includes everything you're going to need in order to get your business up and running.
Not saying you need to know how many paper clips you're going to use per week, but it has to be somewhat in like a detailed format where you can like convey the one from like one person to another.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be. Well, how do we prefer ours? Like we didn't get ours done like professionally, but we had all like the components and all the caveats that they wanted us thought of, because when like when Trina made T-Birds, T-Birds was like it wasn't just first time one and done. It took us several times to launch it to where it should be launched. So don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen the way that it should happen, but know and bear in mind that it will happen if you are like persistent in trying to get stuff done towards that business. It will happen. Because then again, you know, like as long as you stay focused, follow one's course until it's successful. Those what you got to do.
Exactly. So there you have it. You've got the business plan cycle, and this is for the full-fledged in comparison to just the one-page business plan. That's pretty much for the idea. But get started. I want to encourage everyone, especially the non-believers in themselves. I don't have what it takes to run the business. You do if you want that additional income. It is not only beneficial to you, but your entire family, your whole community, your friends and family members, where you want people to learn from or see you in action so they can do it themselves. And I can't tell you the countless people that have come up to us and said, when I saw that you were able to be successful, it encouraged me to be successful. And then the ones that won't ever tell you
Yeah,
that
we got the haters
you
out there.
inspired
We
them.
got the
Yeah.
haters. The haters, they want to do it so badly, but they don't want to, want to break down and say, well, how'd you get over this hurdle? And it might be like just like a milestone, but like a hurdle to them. So
We
you
were
know,
one
man,
of the first up on
flip
Main Street
sides.
in Pleasantville. And we had T-Bird Soul Food. And subsequently after we did what we did, here comes Kelsey and Kim's, and there's another brother, I can't think of him. He was short-lived down on closer to me. I mean, and you know, you don't know who you're affecting. You really don't know. I mean, everyone's not gonna come and say, "Well, I saw you do it and it inspired me."
Oh, of course, they'll never say
Then
that.
some people will, some people won't.
Have
But you what?
have anybody came to you and said, "Look, man, I really, really admire what you did," and like,
Yeah, I
how you
have.
did,
I have.
indirectly, right?
I
Okay,
have.
got
I
you.
had more people thank me for the training program and their success after they graduated than I did business wise.
Okay,
But
well, that's
at the
cool.
same time, I relish with the silent ones because they know who they are, and God knows who they are. And hey,
And more power to them.
that's right. What can I mean,
What can I say?
what can you say? What can you do? So let's talk again about this 12-week class. I want you to definitely take a look at it.
And think about it very cold-heartedly, because everybody needs to want to step up their game.
And one of the things that we're interested in you taking the class that we want you to be eligible for is that you you could be located. I don't care where you're located. I don't care how long you've been in business. I don't care if you're the decision maker or not. I don't care what your scenario is. I just want you to want to be committed to doing the 12-week class and being available from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday starting in January. But in order for you to get here, you've got to register by December 21st at register@tbirdcenter.com. And that will be the only way you'll be let in to this class for absolutely no charge, because you watched our show and you're going to get that quiz we talked about last week. We're going to send you that quiz, and you can answer those questions. You'll be able to get the free 12-week class.
So make up your mind quick, because seating is limited.
And it's online, so I mean,
okay.
it's
all right.
online, yeah. So yeah, seating is limited. I'm not gonna have 100 people in the car, so seating is limited. But if we do get a large number, we'll make another day. So we'll do one like a Tuesday and then another one on a Thursday. So our last and slide in terms of educating you is to stay focused, follow one's course until successful. Follow one's course until successful. So stay focused. And I always like to leave with everyone's born with opportunity, the opportunity to make a difference. And again, register at tbirdcenter.com, and we will send you the actual business plan package. This one's different. This was from last week. The business plan package.
Mm-hmm.
And if you register for the 12-week class, you get all of it, so you don't have to worry about it. But still register in order to be included for the 12-week class. And for all of our listeners, it is absolutely free. And it's hands-on. And it's also going to include, we're not just going to talk about how to put together your business plans, but we're also going to be doing it in Microsoft Word. So we're going to show you you'll be picking up tips on how to use Microsoft Office. So Word, we're going to work with Excel, and we're also going to work with PowerPoint.
There.
And Access and Publisher. So, I mean, it's just a great opportunity. It's online. It's free. Some people will say, well, how good could it be? It's free. Well, you know what? You sit on the sideline and wait. Because if I'm doing it, it's going to be at the top of my game. I don't do anything you can tell by the show. You know, it's always quality. I always got my slides. I've always got everything in place. You know, good quality giveaways.
You just worry me to death with that all the time, too.
Yeah, I do things top notch. So if I say it's free, and it's going to be quality free, not 99-cent free. It's going to be quality free. And I want to do a shout out to all of our. Please, share on your timeline, and we thank you for doing so. We definitely appreciate it, and we want to give a shout out to our sponsors: Rico Clothing, of course, the T-Bird Center, TVC Enterprise, and Mr. T's Restaurant. So I think the last week of Empire is about to come on.
Oh, come on.
So I'm going to let everybody go so they can watch their show. And, the questions. What were the questions? We got time to do the questions.
Okay, one of them, this one encompasses everything. And I know you don't have enough time to do it.
I do. We got looks like we got 3 minutes.
Shatia, she wrote, Dennis Bird, how did you get started? I mean, was it just an idea?
How did I get started in business? She wants to see now. I got started in business.
Yeah, how did she get? I guess that's what it's like she's referring to. How did you get started?
I'm gonna tell you how I got started. It's so funny. I always wanted to be in business. I really did. I always wanted to have my own school. I really wanted to have my own school, and I went to work for Caesars right out of college, and when I went to work for them, the PCs became a big important factor in
in the
the
industry.
industry. So I was tasked to put together a training program at Caesars to
So you just jumped on board, huh?
to train people when they got the the desktops put on
Still
their
coming
computer.
in.
Yeah, and pretty much developed a training program, and it was a great success. It was at Caesar at the time. It was Caesars Boardwalk Regency, and we started to get a lot of folks from different departments. Because what happened was when I first started at Caesars, they had computer terminals on in the data processing department. And then after a year, they started to branch the computers out into the individual departments, like income control, accounts payable, accounts receivable. They all got terminals, but people didn't know how to use them.
You talking way
They were
back.
terminals. Yeah, they were
Wow.
terminals. People
Terminals.
didn't know how to use them. And so we would go out there and train them. My department would go out and train. And then the PCs came on board and they replaced the terminals with PC computers. And so I started doing classes for those. And people in security and departments that didn't have access to the technology wanted to take the classes. And I just was smart enough to say, wow, this is a niche. And actually, my department got so good at it, my boss didn't like the recognition I was getting. And so
those darn bosses.
she stopped me from doing it. So at first I was upset, but then that little whisper from God said, this is your time to turn it into your own business. And so T-Bird Personal Computers was born. And I started out in a little small room in the back of, by this time I had left Caesars. And at that point I was only doing like tutoring, or I was going to people teaching them. And when I left Caesars and opened up a corner grocery store, I was asked by a neighborhood lady to put together a program for the kids. And when I did that, the kids' parents wanted to start taking the classes. And a lady from over in Woodland Terrace said, Trina, you need to go over to the One Stop Center because they will pay for it, and we will be able to come there for free. And that's how I found out about the One Stop. It was actually One Stop. Then it was called Job Connection or
Job Connection.
something like that. So I went and got my certification under them and started the school. So it wasn't really, I can't say I did it all. It was, the need was there and the opportunity knocked on, and I just made sure I took advantage of it. And I was really happy about doing it because I was able to change lives, especially people in my community who, didn't have access to computers but wanted to, but couldn't afford them. And, here we were helping them get the training for absolutely free. So that's how I got started.
So since that's a crazy, what did you really want to be?
Oh, I wanted to be a school teacher, so
School
I did.
teacher.
Yeah,
So you
it
was
did come
already-
around. But if I
was
had to do it
It's like
over,
a twofold.
if I had to do it over, I would be.
You'd be a superintendent, huh?
I probably would have been a school superintendent, possibly,
I believe that.
or I would have went into. I would like to be probably an attorney, defending people. I love to talk, and I can analyze stuff, and I I would definitely be one of those people that have them on a witness stand, shaking in their boots. I would love
talk
it.
about another Perry Mason.
Another Perry Mason. Another Perry Mason.
All
All right,
right.
one more question.
One of the questions is, typical.
Oh, you know what? It's 8:02. We out of time.
Okay.
We are definitely out of
Get up
time,
next week.
and we appreciate you guys
All
tuning
your
in.
calls. Thank you,
And
everyone.
those of you who didn't get a chance to get your question answered, we have your email address.
I have two names here. I'm scared to pronounce. I don't want to tear it up, but we'll make sure that we email you back. All right.
And I will make sure that we take care of it. I'll make sure we get the information to you. Thank you, and see you next week.
Trina and Rick Bird.
All right. Good night.